Since money is free, give it to the poor people, right? And the middle class, and let them go right on through this. Now, the rich people gonna get the money anyway. But the money that they give away in the last, since 2008 up to now, they've been making sure the rich get the money first. Then they loan the money to you. And all you get is debt. Right? Now, everybody knows that's basically what's happening. But if you got people working, running around the mill, they don't have time to stop and think about it a lot. All of a sudden, we got to freeze, stop. And everybody get a chance to look at the world and think. And it's not just here in America. Can you imagine? The whole world is on freeze. You got to freeze. You know what people are saying? Hey man, the air is really clean. Because there ain't no cars out there. Hey, imagine you on a freeze for several months. That's going to have an effect, but also it's going to have an effect on the economy. There's two kind of ways that things can, there's many ways that things can happen. Self-trapping is the worst thing you can do. That means you trap yourself into something, right? By greed, arrogance, ignorance, whatever it is, you trap. And if you're sitting down, you want to stand up. If you're standing up, you want to sit down. If you sleep, you want to wake up. You're uncomfortable, whatever you're into. The other thing is the traps is to go against the guidelines that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set for the human being. That is a serious trap. When you can't move forward, you can't go back, you can't. That's the way it is right now. Whatever they do, number one, they froze. If they spend money this way, something happens. They spend it another way, something else happens. But whatever it is, they're trapped in this contemporary situation, the time that we're living in. With all this going on, what about me and you? I'm going to just go directly to the point. What about us? Okay. It seems like we've been prepared for a lot of this stuff. Like somebody was saying today at my house, what was it about? It was about the floor that has been banged in the kitchen. And I told him, yeah, well, I might fix it. I don't have to. I said, because somebody was banging. They broke the floor. Same thing in the bathroom. In fact, I happened to be in the house when bang, I was down in the basement and this heavy banging to break the floor in the bathroom. And so the thing that happened, this has been going on for quite some time. But I just said, well, it reminds me of the time when in California, we had a meeting and everybody was there was the police. Everybody. So a big noise kept click, 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 click. I said, y'all hear that? No. So click, 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 big noise. I said, y'all hear that? They said, no. So I pulled out my tape recorder. I said, let's see if the tape recorder picked it up. In other words, I knew who they was, so I was taping the meeting. So I just run it back. Click, 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 click. I said, oh, the tape recorder picked it up. They got these little bitty tape recorders, so the MP3, you can turn it on and it'll record an unbelievable amount of hours. So you can go back to that, and if you listen to it, you can hear bang, bang, bang. Now, you can't do it visible, because you may have cameras in your house watching you. Why you know you have cameras in your house? You can do it, find out very simply. You can write a message like this, da-da-da-da-da, and then see what happens. If there's any reaction to the message that you done wrote, and you said it right there, if there's any action on this note that you've written, then somebody done read your thing. Whether you sitting there or not, it don't make no difference. That's the way, so Allah give you ways to, another example. Right over here. No, right out there. You see the tow truck, you see the truck with this, that, and another, you see all of that, right? Yeah. Now, okay, a lot of people will say, well, why you let that happen? Okay, let it happen, right? Up there on 8th Street, at one time, you might have saw some of the stuff. We let the people move in, and they had it so unbelievable, we had to just strip the whole thing out. You think it's bleaching clean. In fact, one of our people who are in the best condition got sick up there. And we had a person living right there, 4481. I stopped by one night. I said, oh, you got your a U-Haul. So you're not moving, are you? No. I got up in the morning for Fajr, I come by, the U-Haul is gone, and da-da-da-da. I mentioned this before. But all of those things we knew. We wanted to. We didn't want to. What we did was, if I said those things myself, like, people say, yeah, the brother's tripping, you know what I mean? The pressure of the thing is getting to him. But if you have pictures and you have lists over and over and over again, and you do it over and over again, that's sabr. That's sabr. The ability to do that stuff over and over and over again till it's redundant. That's sabr, that's patience. That's the ability to check, to tie, and to contain yourself. That's what it is. Okay. That's why we like this sabr so much. Because it pushes you into professionalism. You have to become very professional at what you're doing. You have to have your notes and your ideas and you have to be a great planner and a thinker and an organizer. Because what you see is going to repeat itself over and over and over again. You have to have the ability to stick with that, no matter what it is. You have to have the ability to stick with the people too. Because remember, the people are going to be doing those things. There's nothing you can do about it. Can you imagine? You got to be a tough customer to be sitting under the boss man in boss man's house. And he got everybody on his team. If he don't, he's going to get most of them on his team sooner or later, because he's going to target them, and the human being are human beings. He's going to target people. And boss man, if he's got everything to offer to people and you ain't got nothing, nothing but hard times. They say in World War, blood, sweat, and tears. That's what Winston Churchill, I don't have this to offer you. Blood, toil, and tears. You know, so it was a group called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Anyway, from England. That's what you got to offer people. Now, in contemporary times, if you have a whole group of people that have gone through those things with you, they've been the antagonist. They've been the ones to do those things. Okay, now what do you have? They pulled back, they've done this, they did. But guess what? None of us knew what was going to happen right here. Right now. We just didn't. We got we run in our mouth all the time. And we got plans. I mean, you know, we're not just floating around. But this boosted it up like, hey man, wait a minute. We got the martyrdom of so-and-so. But the world is on freeze. 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 Here's the point I'm trying to make. This is an opportunity for us. If a person ever wanted to do something for humanity, for black people, for anything, this is the opportunity. How is it an opportunity? Number one, we know them, the people, and they know us. One thing the people know is, we may not like to admit it, but every dirty little trick the white man tried on that nigga, none of them worked. Yellow girls, black girls, hairy-legged girls, money, fear, we're going to scare the nigga to death. None of it worked. That don't happen. I'm telling you, believe it or not, when we look over the history of our brothers, if it's the black movement, you can get them with girls. By the way, they ain't no work. It ain't hard. All you got to do, one of the famous Negroes, one of the sisters went by to pick him up at the house to come bring him to a lecture. You know, he chased the woman around the house for a half an hour for sex. When we was in Algeria, you know, one of my friends that took over the party, Pete O'Neill, he said, man, vagina got, he didn't use that word, but vagina got us put out of Algeria. That's the root of what got us put out of Algeria. And when I was there with the brothers, they was, you know what, they was one of them, he's a real revolutionary. He was saying, man, them ones that got all that stuff on, those are the ones you want to be getting. He was talking about niqab. Now, I was a kind of a Muslim, and I knew that was that wasn't going to fly. But that got him put out of it. Can you imagine in a Muslim country? Technically, we didn't like it. I'd go to a nightclub, and there was only men in there. And they were drinking tea. I said, man, this ain't working here. You could go to a Western place every now and then that would have a little bit of something that you like. But anyway, here's the point. The point is, during our time, during our period, we have a unique situation. This is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know the people and the people know us. Remember, it's better for an opportunity, you know, to come and then you're prepared, or for an opportunity to come and you're not prepared. Okay, Allah prepared us for the situation that we're in now. We have came into a global situation, and the world needs us and our contribution. People say, who needs niggas? Well, the world needs our contribution. Because remember, we always talked about influence in the direction of change. Now, right now, whatever is happening is what will the world look like after we pass through this period. it won't be like when we came in. When you go into the tunnel, it's going to be different when you come out on the other end. Now is the time for us to influence the direction of change. Now, it's a simple question. Who you want to trust to influence the direction of change? Leave it to boss man. He'll fix your behind up, right? Just like he's been doing. He'll have the police killing you. He'll have the police. He got ready. The police is already ready for what he got. He's the one that they talk about global lockdown. They've been had global lockdown before this happened. When we say global lockdown, that means psychological lockdown, economic lockdown. This may be a period for that Allah wants us to loosen up and liberate ourselves. Whether it's total liberation or partial liberation. If we here's the big companies the way they are right now. The ones with big money, they're sitting on it. Why? Let everything fall apart. They go around and pick it up, and even in the dunya it was like that. When everybody crashed, if you got big money, you go pick up everything for 10 cents on the dollar. If you get this concentration of wealth and the concentration of resources, if we don't do nothing on this go round, boss man ain't gonna be playing with us. Of course, he never was. But I want you to imagine the world with them in 100% control. And remember, they play games with us all the time. You may think the 99% and the 1%, you may think all of that was a natural occurrence. They may plan all that stuff. You don't know what they plan. They plan, okay, they're getting ready to feel a little tense, so we're going to give them a little temporary rebellion. We're going to let them shout for a few months, right? So we say, and they tell you the truth, the 1% and the 99%, right? And they 1%, he's telling you the truth. But he knows one thing. He started a certain time of the year, when it gets winter on this coast, they're going to close that down. Close it down. Why? Because it's winter time. They're not going to have all them people out there through the whole winter in New York, in D.C., in Philadelphia. Snow and rain and all of that stuff. They don't do that. And they know how the modern man is. These people are like comfort driven. They can't hang out like the homeless that hang out there when it's real cold all the time. The ones got sense go to California. Why do you think there's 10 times as many people in California and Arizona living in 10 cities? Because California, the land of sunshine, you go out there, oranges grow out in California, Arizona, and all of that. They don't grow back here. Why? Because of the climate. The climate. I'm telling you, if it's 45, 50 degrees, you're freezing to death in California. It ain't gonna get no colder than that. Right? Okay. So Allah, I believe, it gave us a chance. What do we do at this time? We've been dealing with this for quite some time, and Allah gave us the ability to clown the system. Clown it, make fun of it. And technically, we said that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the Muhammad Ali, Jack Johnson style. And that's basically what we did. The Muhammad Ali style, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, right? And Jack Johnson, heavyweight champion 1910, 1912 and that period up to 1915, hey, it was unbelievable. So we've done that. That's what we've done right here. We have done that with the system. We call it historical clowning. What's so dynamic about this time is if we do this the way that Allah has appeared to have arranged it, we can play a part in human liberation. Because the world is going to be different. Do we want to put our mark on history? Remember, write ourselves into history. Write your own book. We didn't just start talking about it. We've been talking about this. That we have to write our own book. We have to make our own contribution, right? And that means we have to take charge of our life. In order to do that, what's the best way to do that? First of all, we know the people that we've been involved with, you know. And you say, yeah, those are tattletales, they're this, that, and other. But see, they know us too. And they know we never buckled under any of the type of pressure that they put on people. We've never buckled. We've never sold out. We've never been frightened. All the things that they use. We've never accepted the money. We've never done any of those things. Therefore, since that's what we've been doing, the people know us. They know we are a known commodity. Right? We're not Jesse Jackson. We're not Al Sharpton. We're not none of those people. And we've got time in. You got to imagine 50 years in the struggle or even more. You get a chance, that's going to show where you're coming from sooner or later. You know what I mean? 50 years? 50 years in the heat of the struggle. And 40 years in the eye of the struggle. Now, what does that mean? That means that the people who was working for the white man, working for the system, working against us, now we should work together.